Hey, what's up y'all? I'm Sydney and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna have a little college talk, okay? More specifically about exams. I know when I was in high school, I didn't have to worry about tests that much. I was pretty smart, and high school's just, pretty easy compared to college, even though you don't think about it at the time, but it is. And I didn't have final exams or really anything like that when I was in high school, so I was in for a surprise when I got to college. This is like the first couple of years that I've ever had to like really hardcore study for things, especially because I don't know if there are any of y'all out there like that, but I need to keep a scholarship, so I need to keep my grades up to like a certain level. So I just put together a couple of tips and tricks for you guys to help survive final exams or just exams in general, and these are things that I find work for me. They may not work for you, but I just want to help you guys out. So I'm going to kind of start from the beginning of the process. The first step is really crucial and it's going to be hard, and that's to try to go to class as much as possible. I know when you're in college, especially when the teacher doesn't take attendance, it's so easy to just not go, to sleep in, to go do something else, to work on other projects. I know I've skipped class because of like my art projects and stuff, oh man, which I shouldn't have, but I found that when I skipped class or when I didn't go to class, it was harder for me to learn that topic and study that topic for the test. So always try to go to class or always try to get notes from someone if you absolutely can't go. The second step will be take really good notes, or try to take notes in the way that helps you the best. So some people learn more with pictures and diagrams, other people learn stuff by listening, and other people learn stuff by writing stuff down. So you know what works for you, or if you haven't really had to study that much, you might not, but try all the different methods out and see which one helps you the best. I personally find that like hearing the instructor talk as well as writing down what he says helps me. Like when I'm taking the test and I'm reading the words, I kind of read them as my professor is saying it to me, like in my head, which sounds kind of crazy, I guess, I don't know. But I find that helps me a lot. If you would take good notes in the beginning, it'll be easier when you go back to study them because you'll have already learned it, so you're just kind of relearning it as opposed to skipping out on it and having to learn something new completely. My next tip actually has to do with the studying for the exam, and that's going to be to try not to procrastinate and wait till the last minute to study. I know that's really difficult because I'm the worst procrastinator, like you have no idea. I'll wait. In high school I would wait till the morning of to do things, but in college, if you want a good grade, you can't really do that unless you're like Einstein or you have like a photographic memory. But I don't really know that many people that are like that, so it's gonna have to be studying. The more information that you have to go over for a test, the earlier you should start, which is a given. I find that, let's say you have 5 chapters that you're being tested over, then I would set a goal for yourself, like on the first day I'm gonna get the first chapter done, or I'm gonna get the first 2 chapters done, and I'm gonna have those solid, and then the next day I'll do the next 2 chapters, and so on and so forth. So if you just take 3 nights before your exam to study, you'll do amazing, I promise you. It's better than just trying to cram all that information in your head at the night before. I've stressed out that I wasn't going to learn everything, and I've had friends that have like also stressed out about that. So you just have to make sure that you can get as much in your head in the given time that you need. And they'll obviously, like, they're not going to tell you about the test the day before. They'll tell you like at least a week before, or it'll be on your syllabus, so you'll know since the beginning of the year. And going back to the previous steps, if you take good notes, you shouldn't have to take as long to study. Another tip I have for you guys is repetition, 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 okay? So if you're studying for a test, don't just look at the answer to like the question once. Look at it over and over again. Read the question, read the answer in your head. Read the question, read the answer in your head again and again and again. And then come back to it, and you'll find that your muscle memory and your brain will just click those things together than if you just read over the whole thing once. So you just want to read an answer a couple of times, read another question a couple of times, so on and so forth, until you can kind of memorize it. And I don't want to say that like memorization is important, because we want to actually learn things and not just like memorize it and then forget it. But in this case, if you want to get a good grade, I suggest that you try and memorize things. I also like to look things up online to get like more information, especially if I didn't take as well of notes that day, or I feel like my teacher didn't expand enough on the topic. In my history class, we have to prepare essays for the test, so I always like to take the essays, kind of dissect them, and look up those different parts, like these different time periods. I like to look them up and kind of look through the bad sources and pick up pretty good sources and just kind of write down some information, because even writing that information helps me with other questions on the test, which just, I feel like, because the more you know about something, the easier it is to like connect them and to understand the topic. I also really like Quizlet. A lot of your professors probably have students who made Quizlet specifically for the exams. Like they took it last semester and they made Quizlet for like Geology 1610, exam 1 review. So it's really helpful, like in addition to your review, to look over someone else's review, kind of to check answers and also make sure that you could have like more information if you need to. Because expanding is it's always better to have more information than to have less information. Another tip would be to try not to pull an all-nighter. Sometimes it's inevitable. I can't do that. Like I can't physically pull an all-nighter. I've never done it because I'm just afraid that I will die. I know that's a little melodramatic, but I'm just afraid that I'm gonna die. Like I don't know what else to say. What I do is I will stay up late for sure, like 3 or 4 in the morning. And my test would be at 11. So I'll stay up 3 or 4 in the morning. I will sleep for at least 2 hours because my brain just gets so fried where I'm looking at the material and I'm not even absorbing any of it. I'm just brain dead, you know? And I feel like it's really not productive. So by getting sleep, your brain will wake up a little bit. It'll be hard to get out of bed, but that's what coffee's for. I find that I have a refreshed mind and I can look at the material a little bit again because I'll wake up a couple hours before I have to take my test. And I find that helps me a lot. My brain's awake and I don't have to worry about taking a test with a fried brain, you know, having stayed up the whole day, like one long day. There's no night, just one long day. And if you do have to pull an all-nighter, I would suggest being with a friend who's in your class or with someone who can stay up with you and work on their stuff, because it's really hard for me to stay up if I'm alone because I'm really good at convincing myself to go to bed. Like I'm really good at it. I love sleep, so I always like convince myself that sleep is more important, which I think it is. But when I have friends around, it helps me stay awake because if my friend sees that I'm like nodding off or something, she's gonna be like, hey, wake up, pull yourself together. And I'm like, okay, I got it, I can do this. Also, just make sure you're studying in your free time. Like I take the bus to and from school, and like studying on the bus is good. Studying while you're waiting for your test, just like in your spare time in between classes, if you're not going to be doing anything anyways, it'll just be good to study anyways. And my last tip, which sounds the stupidest, but trust me, I've seen people get zeros on their exams because they don't follow this tip, okay? If you're supposed to bring a number 2 pencil to the exam, bring a number 2 pencil, okay? Don't fill out the Scantron with a pen. I feel like we've taken enough tests to know that, but I don't know. And then a lot of teachers on essays, if you write essays in class, they want you to write in pen. So I always bring a pen and a pencil in case. I honestly just bring a pencil bag, actually, all the time with me everywhere. I don't know why people don't, but definitely bring the necessary materials that you need in order to take the test, because there's nothing worse than staying up all night studying for a test that you get a 0 on because you didn't bubble the number, like you didn't bubble the answer choices in right. So, I mean, that's a given. Yeah, so those were all my tips of how I do good on exams or how I survive my exams. When I follow all these steps, I get high B's or A's depending on how hard the class is. For your required courses, this will definitely work. So that's all I have for you guys today. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and leave a comment down below telling me your favorite tips that you guys use to study for tests. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Study hard for those tests if you have any.
Studying is important. Good grades are important. Goody two shoes over here. You can still have fun, though. You can definitely still have fun.
So anyways, I love y'all. Bye!